Hi everyone and welcome to a new reading vlog. So this reading vlog was going to be another episode in my Kindle clear out project. However, the book that I'm currently reading is not on my Kindle. I went to the library over the weekend and I picked this up spontaneously and I really want to read it. So instead it's going to be a general romance reading vlog. I have one physical book that I'm currently reading and then there's two books on my August TBR that are on my Kindle that I'm also hoping to get around to. So first up we have Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is Ali Hazelwood's newest release and so far I'm 40 pages in, so obviously not too far into it, but I haven't immediately warmed to these characters. We're following Rue and Eli and it is dual POV, so we're getting both characters' perspective. Rue is an engineer, I think, and she works for this company that is being taken over by another company, and Eli works for that company. They've actually already met through a dating app, which isn't actually a dating app, it's more like a hookup app, because Rue and, from the sounds of it, Eli both don't do relationships. And I think this is a reverse fake dating situation where they have a friends with benefits type agreement, but they don't want anyone to know that they're actually seeing each other. So the concept is intriguing. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it because it does feel very much like Instalust, and I don't tend to get on very well with those types of romantic pairings. However, this is Ali Hazelwood and I have generally liked most of her books except for Love on the Brain, which I gave 2 stars. Everything else has been like a 4 or 5 stars. So I'm going to try and read some more of this tonight, and then hopefully I will get more into it and I will start to enjoy it. The second book that I'm going to be picking up is You Again by Kate Goldbeck, which I've heard is a When Harry Met Sally retelling, or it was very much inspired by that, but this to me screams autumn, and I may be wishing away the summer here, but it's really hot in the UK right now and I hate it. I want it to be autumn again. So wishful thinking, maybe if I read a book that has autumn vibes, then it will make me feel like it is almost autumn, which it is, but right now it's boiling and I am ready for the summer to be over. The final book that I'm hoping to pick up is Only When It's Us by Chloe Liese, which is the first book in the Bergman Brothers series, a series that I've heard really good things about, and I believe this is a new adult college romance where the main character is a soccer player. We'll give you more information on that and a better synopsis once I actually start it, but yeah, those are the 3 main books that I'm hoping to read in this vlog. I feel like it might be a little bit ambitious to put more books on my TBR for this week because I am planning to run this vlog for exactly a week. It's currently Monday evening and I'm going to run this up until Sunday. I am actually running a 5k on Sunday, so I'm imagining, I can't say that word, I'm imagining that on Sunday afternoon I'm going to be really tired and all I'm going to want to do is read. Welcome to the vlog, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy. Good morning, happy Tuesday. It's not even the morning, it's Tuesday afternoon, and I wanted to let you know I have been making some progress with Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I am currently 133 pages into this, so I read around 100 pages last night and I'm enjoying this a little more. However, I'm still struggling with the relationship and it's stuff that I knew going into the book, so I'm trying to overlook it and not be nitpicky. Ali Hazelwood actually has an author's note right at the beginning where she sets expectations for this book and explains that it's a little bit different to her other books because her other books have very much felt like rom-coms, whereas this she describes as an erotic romance. So you know from the beginning that this is going to be a little bit steamier than her other books, and so far I can kind of confirm confirm that. Also, the main characters have clearly been through stuff in their pasts that is affecting who they are today. So our main character, Rue, she doesn't do relationships. She's never been in a relationship. She only does one-night stands, and she's very strict on her boundaries. She knows exactly what she wants. She's always felt uncomfortable in social situations, so it feels like a coping mechanism for that, or it's linked to that. She has a close circle of friends that she trusts, but that's it. She is not interested in a relationship. We then have Eli, and even though we're getting Eli's point of view, I feel like I still don't know that much about him. I am glad that we're getting his perspective actually, because he obviously works for this company that are buying out the loan that Rue's boss used to set up her company in the first place. It sounds a little bit confusing, but it does make sense as you're reading. I think if we didn't have Eli's perspective, then it would be really difficult to understand why we're meant to like him. But yeah, I don't dislike him. I don't dislike Rue either. I do like these characters. I think they're being built up well, or at least Rue is. Eli feels a little bit more flat. I think where I'm struggling is I don't understand why these two characters are attracted to each other outside of they're attracted to each other physically. I feel like we haven't had enough build up in that sense, and I know that this is not meant to be a slow burn. I don't know why I keep picking up books knowing that they're not going to be a slow burn, because it always bothers me when the physical stuff starts happening before the characters have built an emotional connection, even though I knew that that was going to be the case before picking this up. I think I just don't understand why these two characters are risking their jobs, because that's essentially what's happening. They're risking their jobs, or they're risking angering people who are like their colleagues or their bosses. Like, they're risking a whole lot of crap just because they feel drawn to each other, and it's just not enough for me to feel invested in a romance. But that could come as they spend more time together. I feel like I could become more invested. I'm just not loving this as much as I've loved Ali Hazelwood's books in the past. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think this is okay. I'm actually very intrigued by the plot in this, like this whole corporate takeover. I'm really intrigued to see how that's going to play out, because some stuff has been hinted at. In Eli's perspective, he clearly knows more than Rue, and I'm interested to see how the characters handle that. I'm interested to see how they develop and how they grow together. Maybe this could work out for me, I don't know. I think I just need to keep reminding myself that this isn't meant to be a slow burn. I just don't want the smut to overtake the plot and the character relationship development, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to finish this tonight, because I only read 100 pages yesterday, and this is 400 pages, 380-ish pages. So I might end up finishing it on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, but I'm also working from the office tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to update the vlog. So we'll see. I might update you before I get to the end of this, or I might just give you my final thoughts once I finished it. Guess who has already filmed this update once, only to realise that she didn't plug her microphone in? That would be me. So we're going to try this again. I'm going to try and remember everything that I said this morning. This is why I shouldn't film vlog updates first thing in the morning, because I'm clearly not awake properly. But hi, it is now Friday. I didn't update the vlog on Wednesday or Thursday because I was working from the office, and by the time I got home I was just too tired to talk to the camera. So I haven't been vlogging, but I have been reading. So on Wednesday night I finished reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, and I have some mixed feelings about this book, because I appreciate and understand what Ali Hazelwood was trying to do with this story, but it didn't quite work for me. I think if you are looking for a book where the love interest is besotted with the main character, he falls first and he would do anything for her. I think this could work for you. However, I don't think that Ali Hazelwood's strength is in writing smut. And in this book, it did make sense why there was so much of that, because it's the way that the main character feels in control, and it's the way that she connects with people in a romantic way. Not that she really believes in romance, but it did make sense why this book was so smut heavy. And again, I'm reluctant to call it smut just because of how it made sense for these characters. I was just a little bit bored because it started to feel repetitive and I wanted them to have more conversations, but also this isn't that type of book. It just wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't for me. I don't think it's bad. I think that it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. Like, the reason that I love Ali Hazelwood's books is because of the humour and because of the banter between the characters, and this was trying to be more emotional, I guess, but it also didn't go as deep into the emotions as I wanted it to, so it didn't quite work for me. I'm gonna give it 3 stars, I think, because yeah, I just don't have many like strong feelings about it. I didn't actively hate it like I hated Love on the Brain, but I also wasn't swooning. I wasn't like in love with these characters. So yeah, 3 stars. I have now moved on to another book. I picked up You Again last night by Goldbeck, and funny story, this is actually blurbed by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the quote on the front, but yeah, I just thought that was really interesting because I have just finished Not in Love, and this actually has some similarities to this because this is also following a main character who doesn't do relationships. She is non-monogamous and she's recently moved to New York and is sleeping with her roommate. Her roommate is also seeing this guy. Our main character Ari meets this guy right at the start of the book, and they have this tension between them. Basically, our main character Ari, as I said, she doesn't really do relationships, whereas the guy, whose name I can't remember, he's more of a romantic. He does believe in relationships and he believes in true love. My chair is so squeaky today, I am so sorry, but as I think I was saying, the way that this book is structured is you meet them in the first chapter and then it skips ahead a few years and then it skips ahead a few years again, so you're following them throughout time. It is a linear timeline, so it's not like it's moving around or anything, but you're seeing the development of their relationship over many, many years, and it feels unique. I am enjoying that narrative style, and yeah, I am liking the characters in this already. Like is probably a strong word, but I'm finding the characters much more interesting than in Not in Love. I feel like this is what I wanted out of Not in Love, because with this, I feel like I'm being shown why the characters are the way that they are, whereas in Not in Love I felt like there was a lot of telling and not really enough showing. So very excited to carry on reading this. I love that it's set in New York as well because it's one of my favourite places to read about. Hoping to get to the halfway point tonight. I am currently, I think, 20% of the way through, so I might read some more of this on my lunch break, or I might go out for a quick walk and then get stuck into this again this evening, but I am hoping to finish this tomorrow if I can, because Sunday is when I'm doing my 5k run, and I haven't trained as much this week as I wanted to because the weather has been so up and down. It's either too hot or yesterday it was chucking it down with rain when I got home, so obviously I didn't want to run in that. It's really stressful. I mean, it's not that stressful, I just wanted to be more prepared than I think I am, but yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling and I will let you know once I've made some more progress with You Again.
I'm scared of showing up. I'll miss the regular weekends. Don't tell me way too much. I never know if you mean it. Can't seem to get involved. I'll leave without any reason.
Hi everyone, happy Saturday. I have had a really busy day today. I went into town earlier because I needed to pick up some bits and pieces for my holiday in September. I also wanted to order some new glasses, especially prescription sunglasses, which I've never owned before. Obviously I have this pair that I'm wearing right now. I don't usually wear these in videos because it annoys me when you can see the reflection in the glasses, but I wear these all the time. I actually bought them a few years ago in an emergency. I went to Paris, I think it was 2 years ago now, over 2 years ago, and I left my glasses on the plane. So I spent 3 days feeling really disorientated, and then when I got home I had to get a cheap pair just to get me by for the time being, and now it's over 2 years later and these are still the only pair that I have. But all of that to say, I'm back from town now and I am ready to spend the rest of the afternoon reading. So I've made it past the halfway point in You Again by Goldbeck, and I'm really enjoying this so far. I like how it doesn't seem to feel like a standard romance. I don't really know how to explain this, but I think because the timeline in the beginning at least was very choppy, there's just something unique about it. It feels more like realistic fiction with a romance. Like, it's definitely, in my opinion, a romance because it's focusing on these characters and their relationship. It's friends to lovers, so obviously, as I've probably said, these two characters initially when they first meet, there's a bit of friction there and they don't quite get along, but then eventually they start to build this friendship. Usually I don't love friends to lovers as a trope, however, I think the reason I don't like it always is because you don't get to see the characters become friends. I love seeing the characters become friends before they develop a romantic relationship, and I think in most of the friends to lovers books that I've read in the past, you're kind of told that they're childhood best friends or they've been friends in the past or things like that, and when you actually see the friendship build, I love books anyway that focus on friendships and I like romance, so I think this is just working for me somehow. The characters are very flawed, they are definitely not perfect, and there's a lot that they're having to work through. They're very different. Josh, as I've remembered his name now, Josh is a professional chef and he has some family issues that he's trying to work through, whereas on the other hand we have Ari, and she is an aspiring comedian, so that's why she originally moved to New York, and she's been doing stand-up for, wow, I think almost 10 years now at the part that we're at. I think 8 years have passed since we first met the characters in the first chapter, so she's been trying to make a career for herself as a comedian, but it's not really been working for her, and then she's also now struggling after a breakup. In fact, both of these characters at the time when they finally start to build a friendship, they're both struggling after going through some romantic turmoil, and I am just really liking this. There's New York references, and because I only went to New York back in February, I almost read this actually in February while I was in New York, and there's been certain things mentioned like Essa Bagel, which I actually got a bagel from Essa Bagel when I was in New York, and yeah, it's just going really well so far. I need to wrap up this clip because my battery is about to run out, but yeah, just know that I'm really enjoying this so far. I don't know what to do with myself for the next few hours because my partner's out this evening. He's gone to the cinema to watch the new Alien film, and I have just finished my book. I finished You Again, and I haven't had time to process my thoughts on this, obviously, because I literally just finished it a few minutes ago, but my gut feeling is this is somewhere between a 4 and a 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. I liked how messy the characters were in a way that felt realistic. I know people like these characters. The guy Josh is someone who overthinks everything and over-analyses every small detail. Then on the other hand, Ari is someone who doesn't do any of that. She is completely avoidant, and yeah, it's frustrating, but also it is realistic. I felt like these characters were real people. I really enjoyed this. I think I do want to give it 5 stars, but maybe it's more like a 4.5. The only thing I wanted to mention actually though is this cover makes me think of autumn. I think this is the most autumnal cover that I've seen in a while, but most of this book takes place in winter. I think most of it actually takes place over like Christmas and New Year, and it talks about how it's cold, but it also talks about how it's snowy. It's not a problem because I did enjoy the setting. There were so many New York references and places that I remember going to when I was in New York earlier this year, and I wish I had read this while I was there, but at least I've read it now. And yeah, I don't think this is going to be a new favourite romance or anything. Maybe it will. Maybe in 6 months' time I'll find that I can't stop thinking about this book and it will become a new favourite, but I think it's one of those 5 stars that's going to grow on me. I don't know whether I feel like I want to give it 5 stars now, but I'm happy to give it a 4 to a 4.5. Like I said, I don't know what I want to do with myself now for the rest of this evening. I might watch a film, or I could start my next book. I have decided that I'm going to continue this vlog up until Monday because I'm not working on Monday. I booked the day off because I had a feeling that I would be quite tired after running 5k tomorrow, and I also want to try and pre-film some content because I'm going away in September. I wanted to try and pre-film a couple of videos, so I'm going to try and do that on Monday. But yeah, if I need to extend this vlog into Monday, then that's okay too. I've just noticed how red my face is. I don't know whether you can see in the camera, but I can see in the mirror I look really red right now, and I know I put sun cream on this morning, so if I've managed to get sunburn, I'm going to be really annoyed at myself. But I did it. I ran 5k, and I actually ran the whole way as well, which I didn't do last year. I did the same race, if you can call it a race, it's more like a fun run, but I did the same fun run last year, and yeah, I think I overexerted myself in the beginning, so then I was stop starting the whole way to the finish line, and I just felt exhausted by the end. Whereas this year I still felt exhausted, but I kept it slow, kept it steady, and yeah, I finished, which was all I wanted. I don't care what time I did it in, I just care that I finished it. So yeah, it's not even midday yet. I think it's yeah, it's 20 to 12, so my partner's just gone out to get us some breakfast, even though I did eat this morning before the run. Then I think I'm just going to read for the rest of the afternoon. I did make a start on Only When It's Us by Chloe Liese last night, but I literally read the first chapter, so I'm going to try and get a little bit further into this and we will see how it goes. Based on the first chapter, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it because I didn't immediately warm to the main character, but obviously I've only read a chapter, so hopefully I will enjoy this one. It's a few hours later and I'm afraid I have some bad news because I have decided to DNF Only When It's Us by Chloe Liese. I didn't get that far into this. I read the first 15 to 20% and I didn't think it was bad. I think if I was to continue this, it would get maybe a 3 to a 3.5. And this is obviously just based on the first few chapters that I read, but I did not like the main character. And I think it's one of those situations where she's introduced in a certain way where you think, okay, I don't like her now, but maybe she'll have some character development and I'll end up rooting for her towards the end of the book. It could be one of those situations. The main character's name is Willa and she is a soccer player. She's actually a student athlete, so she's in college, and in the first few chapters you learn that she's kind of close to failing one of her classes, and she goes to the professor and starts saying, look, I feel like you're not being very supportive. All of the other professors that I have are, you know, like giving me notes and stuff to help me out when I'm late to class or when I miss classes because of games and stuff. His response is, well, you didn't come and speak to me about this like you should have. And I am actually more on his side. Like, I kind of see where she's coming from, but also her attitude towards the situation just didn't sit right with me. And also the way that she makes assumptions about stuff. She's sat next to this guy and she turns to him and asks if she can borrow some notes, and he doesn't answer her because he's deaf. He literally can't hear her. She doesn't know this, but instead of thinking, okay, I should probably ask him again, he maybe didn't hear me, she decides that he is rude, and she's just making a lot of assumptions. And like I said, she might change and develop as the book goes on, but then it's also revealed that her mom is in hospital because she has cancer, and I can be quite sensitive to cancer storylines anyway in books, and I just don't want to read about that right now. This month is actually the 5-year anniversary of when I finished chemo, and I just don't feel like I'm in the right headspace to read about a character who is seeing their parent go through that. I think it's just going to affect me in a negative way. So that, combined with not liking the main character in the beginning, I think this is just not the book for me. I know that this is the first book in a series, so maybe I'll try other books in the series, but yeah, I don't want to read this right now. It was making me feel like I just didn't want to read anything. All day I've been going back and forth on what to do and whether I should pick up another romance book and at least try and read 3 books for this vlog, but the next vlog that I'm going to be filming I'm a lot more excited about. So I think I'm going to wrap up the vlog here because I did get a 5-star in this vlog. I mean, we've talked about this, it was probably more like a 4.5, but I really enjoyed You Again and I keep thinking about it, and I think maybe because I loved that book so much, I shouldn't read another romance straight away because it's just not gonna live up to that. So yeah, sorry to end this vlog on a bit of a down note, but hopefully you have enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, what was the last 5-star romance that you read? Let me know as well if you've read any of the books that I talked about in this video, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, but otherwise I will see you next time. Bye.